This happened in December of 2008. My name is Stacy, and at the time, I lived with my 3 kids in a duplex in Plains Township, Pennsylvania. It wasn't some giant old house with hidden rooms. It was a pretty normal place. The only unusual thing was that both sides of the duplex connected through one shared attic. A few days before Christmas, we started hearing noises at night. Nothing crazy, just footsteps, little bumps, and sometimes what sounded like somebody moving around upstairs. We had 2 cats, so every time one of the kids mentioned it, I blamed them. I also figured maybe one of my kids was getting water or walking around after everyone had gone to bed. Then, things started disappearing. First, it was food. Just small things from the kitchen that were easy to overlook. Then, cash went missing from Christmas cards. My daughter had just gotten a new iPod Nano, and that disappeared too. A laptop was gone, along with clothes and a few Christmas presents. The really weird part was that it didn't happen all at once. On Christmas Day, things disappeared twice, once during the afternoon and then again later that night. That was when I knew somebody had been inside our home. The next morning, I went through the bedrooms looking for anything that seemed out of place. Inside one of the closets, I noticed dirty footprints on the floor. They led straight to a small trapdoor in the ceiling that opened into the attic. I remember just standing there, staring at it. The attic door was inside our house. Whoever made those footprints hadn't broken through a window or kicked in the front door. They had been coming down from above us. I called the police and got my kids out of the house. When officers searched the attic, they found a 21-year-old man named Stanley Carter hiding up there. The craziest part was how he looked when they brought him down. He was wearing my daughter's pants, my sweatshirt, and a pair of sneakers he had taken from us. Police later said Stanley had been staying with people in the connected side of the duplex. He had been reported missing several days earlier. But instead of actually leaving, he apparently slipped through the shared attic and started living directly above our family. He waited until we were asleep or out of the house. Then he came down, ate our food, used our things, stole our money, and climbed back into the ceiling before anyone saw him. Officers found our missing belongings in the attic. They also found a handwritten list where Stanley had carefully written down the things he had taken from us. At the top of the paper, he had titled it Stanley's Christmas List. That detail still gets to me. He wasn't just grabbing things and running. He was comfortable enough to stay there for days, wear our clothes, use our laptop, eat the same food as us, and keep a list like the attic was his bedroom. Afterward, people kept asking how we didn't know. But when you hear a noise in your own house, you don't immediately assume there's a stranger hiding above you. You blame the pipes, you blame the pets, you blame your kids. And that's probably the part that scares me the most. For 7 nights, while we locked our doors and went to sleep thinking we were safe, the person we should have been locking out was already inside. This happened about 3 years ago when my friend Tyler and I were driving through northern Missouri. We were coming back from a weekend trip and a storm got so bad that we decided to stop for the night instead of trying to keep driving. The only place nearby was this old, worn-down motel sitting off the highway. It had one of those faded signs with half the letters burned out, and there were maybe 4 cars in the entire parking lot. Tyler wanted to keep driving, but I was exhausted, so we parked, got out, and went inside. The guy at the front desk looked like he was in his 70s. He barely said anything. He gave us a key for our room and told us the ice machine was broken. As we were walking away, he suddenly said, "Also, don't answer the phone after midnight." I chuckled because I thought he was joking. He just stared at me with a stone face. Our room was exactly what you would expect. Old carpet, yellow walls, and a bathroom light that flickered every few seconds. The room next to ours was 214. We noticed the door because it was covered by a thick wooden board, not just locked, completely boarded shut. Tyler jokingly knocked on it as we walked past, and almost immediately, something knocked back. We both stopped and looked at the door. Then Tyler laughed and said someone was probably staying inside and messing with us. I wanted to believe that, but there was no light under the door, and the board looked like it hadn't been moved in years. Around midnight, a heavy storm knocked the power out. The emergency lights in the hallway came on, but inside our room, everything was still dark, like uncomfortably dark. Then, our hotel room phone started to ring. It was an old landline sitting between the beds. Tyler told me not to answer it, reminding me what the old desk clerk had said. I figured the old man was calling to tell us about the power, so I picked up. I asked who it was. She whispered, "He's standing outside my door." Then the line went silent. A few seconds later, we heard footsteps in the hallway. They stopped directly outside our room. Tyler walked over and looked through the peephole. He stood there for several seconds before backing away. His face had gone completely pale. I asked what he saw, but he put his finger to his lips. Then, someone slowly dragged their fingernails down the outside of our door. We stayed quiet until the footsteps moved away. They stopped next door, outside room 214. Then, we heard the boarded door creak open. That should have been impossible. Tyler grabbed his phone, but neither of us had service. We decided to go to the front desk, but when I reached for the doorknob, the motel phone rang again. This time, Tyler answered it. The same woman whispered, "Don't let him see you." Tyler looked toward the window. There was a man standing outside in the rain. He was facing our room, but his head was tilted down, so we couldn't see his face. The strange part was that our room was on the second floor, and there was no balcony outside the window. The man was just standing in the air. Lightning flashed, and for 1 second, I saw his face. It was just smooth skin where his eyes, nose, and mouth should have been. The lights came back on, and he disappeared. We didn't wait around. We grabbed our bags and ran downstairs. The front desk was empty. There was an old newspaper clipping taped behind the counter. It was about a woman who had been murdered in room 214 almost 20 years earlier. According to the article, she had called the front desk several times that night, saying a man was standing outside her door. The next morning, they found her inside the room. The article never said who killed her. As we were reading it, the old desk clerk walked out from the back room. Tyler asked why room 214 was boarded up. The man stared at us and said, "It isn't." We turned toward the security monitor behind him. The camera showed the second floor hallway. There was a woman standing inside the doorway of room 214, wearing a white nightgown. She slowly moved her head towards our room. Then the monitor went black. No words were exchanged, and we left without checking out. A week later, Tyler called the motel because he realized he had left his wallet in the room. The number had been disconnected. Tyler searched the address online. We found out the motel had closed 11 years earlier after a fire. Most of the building had been destroyed, including our room. I still don't know where we slept that night, but sometimes, usually during a storm, my phone rings after midnight. The number is always blocked, and every time I answer, I hear the same woman whisper, "He's standing outside your door."